and welcome to SFC Markets and Finance. Greetings from the Boao Forum for Asia Annual Conference 2025. From March 25th to 28th, the world is witnessing the Boao moment here in China. As we've seen, global development is entering a new phase, one filled with both vast opportunities and significant challenges. Notably, Asia's leadership in the global economy is growing rapidly, and evidently regional cooperation will play a key role in shaping the future of global growth. How will China's economic development, along with its Asian neighbors, drive this transformation?
It is extremely dynamic. And if I look at the ASEAN countries, which is about 650 million people, combine that with China with 1.4 billion people, there you're talking about nearly 2 billion people. It's an enormous market. It's an enormous enterprise with great opportunities, but a lot of innovation and best practices are actually being witnessed here. Now, I am quite confident that, I know that post-COVID, there's been a slowdown of the economy, but it has really ramped up because the structural part of the economy is robust. And already we are seeing movement on that front. There is more exchange of goods, services, and there is more consumption which is taking place. Now, the important thing is that we have to find, innovative ways of keeping that 5% rate of growth continue to go, because that will help us to achieve the 2035 agenda that China has of achieving a moderately prosperous society of 800 million people in the middle class category. Now, in order to achieve that, we have to make sure that the transition that China is making with the new skills that are needed to advance the green economy, keep in mind with the advent of artificial intelligence, many of the traditional jobs may go away, but that opens up the opportunity for many new jobs to come into play. And we have to find innovative ways to be able to do that. I'm quite confident, given the kind of entrepreneurship and the knowledge and the prowess of Chinese young people who display great entrepreneurship, great abilities, that we will be able to get into that direction and get into that space. So within the Asian ecosystem, I see the digital economy really thriving. I see the green transition really thriving. I see more investment in science, technology, engineering, and math happening. But I also hope to see that more and more women empowered and more women coming into this space to advance, the ecosystem of business and growth. That is the future. Technology and innovation is the future. I mean, there are 5 key areas that will drive future growth: artificial intelligence, quantum computing, semiconductors, fintech, biotech. On all fronts, China is doing very well. And that is why we need to build up the capacities around the world, around Asia, to be able to keep in stock with that. Most importantly, we must make sure no one is left behind. So we need to make sure that we bridge the digital divide.
As we consider this evolving global landscape, the importance of cooperation becomes even clearer. Asia's growing influence is reshaping global economics, but the world is also facing new challenges. How can Asia, as well as the rest of the world, navigating these challenges and work together to foster inclusive and sustainable global growth?
The center of global economic activity has moved to Asia. The 21st century will be the Asian century. And that is because of the success of globalization. It is maybe the biggest success of globalization. China's development, but also India now growing rapidly, Indonesia, and many countries in the region. Asia shows what can happen if you open up, if you integrate, if you take the ideas from elsewhere, share ideas, and are able to benefit from globalization. But what the pandemic and the Asian financial crisis also showed is that Asia is very vulnerable. As Asia becomes a bigger part of both the success of globalization, but also management of global problems, it needs to never forget that it is firstly part of the global south, and secondly, no country can be an island. A pandemic of the future can come from anywhere in the world. And the risks we face are faced by common humanity. I think because Asia has developed rapidly, there are some countries like Japan that developed a bit more, but even Japan was not a rich country in 1945. It was the World Bank and the aid, and the same with South Korea, that created these countries to be high-income countries today. Without them, they would not be what they are today. We need to never forget that. And we need to forget that to sustain this into the future, there needs to be much more cooperation and solidarity. I hope that because Asia is a recent development, and still many countries in the region are poor and many countries are middle income, it understands this need for solidarity, this need for improving, and it also understands the potential. Countries that were poor in the past are middle income today, and around the world we can ensure that extreme poverty is eliminated. It's being eliminated in China. It should be eliminated everywhere. We can eliminate malaria. We can do many things in progress in education by learning from the example, I think, of Asia and through Asian solidarity. I think we will see more disruption in global supply chains. And we saw it dramatically with COVID-19. So that's already led to a diversification. But I think we will also see that the US is less important in the future than it was. It's made itself less important. This region will be more and more integrated. The US policies will mean that Asian development becomes more Asian. Working with Latin America, working with Africa, and I hope also working with Europe. And so it's the US economy where supply chains will be less integrated, not the rest of the world. And I think the rest of the world's supply chains will become more integrated because there will be more investment. There's also, I think we've learned the lesson in COVID-19, more need for diversification. So we don't only want one supplier, we want 2 or 3 suppliers. That means more participants in the market, more cooperation. And my hope is that this will accelerate many aspects of globalization, accelerate not only the integration of investment, of trade, of digital flows, of people flows, but also of cooperation.
As we reflect on the role of Asia in global cooperation, we must also turn our attention to the growing importance of South-South cooperation. Countries in the global South, while navigating their own path towards modernization, are increasingly shaping the global narrative. In light of this, how can South-South cooperation contribute to a more inclusive and balanced global order, particularly as developing countries continue to face unique challenges?
资金的不足其实是很多发展中国家的痛点。因为在发展的过程中呢，的确我们需要资金的支持，但是呢，在实现可持续发展目标每年需要的万亿资金里面呢，其实官方的海外援助只占了很小的一部分，而且现在也就日渐萎缩。应该说，发展融资的空间啊，被国防和军事的开支挤压的已经越来越小了。所以这个时候呢，我们更加需要合作，不仅是南南合作，还有三方合作，还有公共部门和私营企业的共同融资。我认为呢，为发展融资是南南合作的一个痛点。近些年来呢，我们觉得发展中国家在全球治理过程中越来越活跃，应该说发展中国家的声音也越来越响亮。发展中国家通过不同的多边平台呢，都在推动着一些更加好的合作的倡议。所以我觉得在下一个阶段，全球南方在参与全球治理的过程中，一方面要继续发挥自己团结的力量，另一方面也要考虑到全球南方是140多个国家，很多国家都有不同的诉求，比如说最不发达国家可能和中等收入国家或者是新兴经济体，他们的诉求就是不同的。那么内陆国家和小岛国在发展诉求上也不同，所以如果全球南方能够非常包容地考虑到各种不同国家的诉求，真正实现包容平等的全球治理，我觉得这是未来应该走的道路。
That's all for today's show. Thank you for watching. We will continue to bring you updates as the forum unfolds.